Spider-Man's girlfriend, Kristen Dunst. He's just laying there the whole time.
Spider-Man's girlfriend.
I forgot her name was. She did the upside down kiss of Spider-Man. Who doesn't want to kiss Spider-Man upside down? Are you kidding me? You tell me Spider-Man look in front of you, you're not going to kiss him upside down. Fucking everybody better kiss Spider-Man upside down. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist, different album, and we break it down. We do all the research we could possibly do. We find out all the little secrets about everything that we do our research on, and then we let everyone else know because we're Asinine Radio. Thank you all for listening. Go to Apple Podcasts, go rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. Thank you all for listening. My name is Tyler. Way out there, hundreds of miles away. Way out there in the ether is Jeff. Now, Jeff, what are we doing today? What do we got?
We're doing Juturna by Circa Survive.
Circa Survive, formed in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 2004 by Anthony Green on vocals, Colin Frangisetto on guitar, Brandon Ekstrom on guitar, Nick Beard on bass, and Steve Clifford on drums. They currently have 6 full-length records, 3 EPs, and have a strong following within the indie community. But the album we're doing today is Juturna. It's the band's debut record, and it was released April 19th, 2005. It features the original and only lineup that the band has ever had. And that's all I got. So, Jeff, what is your origin story with Circa Survive? What do you got? Go.
I don't know. I was trying to think about it this week. I don't know when the first time I heard Circa was, and this was I guess for better or worse, this is when we were graduating high school and things were changing in our lives. Things were happening. Big stuff was happening. But all I remember is now I'm in college and I'm listening to a lot of Circa. I'm listening to a lot of the Sound of Animals fighting. I'm just getting really into this scene. I don't know how it happened. I just remember being in the middle of it. And I don't know. I really have no recollection. I just know that we love this album. I don't know when it first came out, but that summer after we graduated high school, and then years on, it was just like Anthony Green And maybe it was like the RX Bandits. I liked the RX Bandits before Circa. And there was the Sound of Animals fighting where they kind of combined and made the Sound of Animals
That's
fighting.
a good word.
So I don't know. I don't know when it happened, but it just happened. I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea. No speculations, nothing.
So I got into Circa Survive through my friend John. He's a couple years younger than us, and he at the time he was living in Lancaster, so I didn't see him a lot. And one day we hung out. He'd come down to Orange County, and we were hanging out. And he loved Seosin, just fucking loved Seosin, the Anthony Green era, and then also the Cove era, which was like right before this. And then he introduced me to Circa. He was the one who did that. It was the summer after we graduated high school, I think. Pretty sure it was, or like end of my senior year of our senior year. And yeah, he listened to a lot of Seosin and a lot of Zoloft and the Rock and Roll Destroyer. So he got me into that. And yeah, it was all through my friend John. He just is a huge, even still to this day, is a huge Anthony Green fan. Just has followed his career from like almost day one, it seems, up until now. And that's how I got into Circa. And then obviously that kind of, when it bled into hanging out with you guys, because it was two different friend groups. And at the time, a lot of our friend groups didn't like hang out with each other. It was weird.
Well,
and
there was, to be fair, you were the only person that was so reluctant to merge your different friend groups. Everybody else had no problem.
True, yeah. And only two of those friends were able to successfully merge into...
No, rightfully so. Rightfully so. Some of your other friend groups there's still beef today. That friend of the pod, Ryan, and friend of the pod, Alicia. There's money that is owed to the other person that is still unpaid. Money that is owed, yes. So maybe rightfully so. Yeah,
maybe. But yeah, anyway, so John was the one who got me into Circa and Anthony Green in general, and early Seosin on that one EP, because I never liked Seosin after Anthony Green had left the band. I just didn't like that new singer. Just didn't do it for
better. Me. I'm a Cove fan, baby.
Are you? No, you're
absolutely 100%.
Really?
Are you kidding me? Of course.
You're stupid. You're dumb.
I think he matches the band better. I think the band's not nearly as good as Circa is, and so therefore you don't need a singer that needs to be over the top like Anthony Green was.
Have you heard the last Seosin record, the one that Anthony Green did?
Anthony Green? Yeah.
Yeah. It's really good.
It is really good.
It's fucking really good.
It's solid. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say it's not good. Of course.
Damn, man. That was, I think, outside of Juturna, that is the best thing Anthony Green has ever done. That Seosin record. The one from like 2016 or whenever it was. That was great stuff.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough to say otherwise, but okay.
It's true, though. It's true. So that's my origin story with the band. And so then what are your initial thoughts on Juturna? What do you got? Go.
I don't know. Juturna it's weird because Juturna came out as we were graduating high school, but it wasn't really it wasn't like an integral part of our circle until like most of us went on to college and like did other things. So like late 2005. And that's when it really got big. And I think it's because that's when we really started to party.
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
Like after high school, we really started to hit the party scene. And then we still weren't drinking heavily. And so I think Circa was more of like driving music. But then it became like life music. And going to these parties and going to the, Brian Moore's house. Should we say last names? I already did.
Yeah, we can say it. Yeah. Okay. The party house.
Well, because Brian Moore's not a real name. It's a fake name, clearly. Going to the party house and things like that and going to like parties after high school and just having real no direction. Like there was just no, after high school ended, it sounds so cliche, but like you have nothing to do. Like you could do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You're not constrained anymore. You're not a prisoner. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to do it. It's just, that feeling is kind of overwhelming to a point, because even now today when I have a lot of days off, but when you have a day off and you have so much to do, you say, oh, I'll get everything done in one day. But then you end up getting nothing done because you have so much time You know what I mean? Like you do nothing.
No, I get it.
And so I think like Circa Survive came in just at the right time because they were a band that is really, they perfectly blended like emo, but like the harder edged emo, not like I guess also like the softer edged emo, but then also with like the post-hardcore stuff. Like Circa Survive encompassed all of it. They blended so many different genres together, and they came at a time in our life where we were just really searching for what to do next. And they came along, and it was really eclectic. And in our music voyage, it was at the time when we were not taking it seriously, but we were having more fun with it. We were exploring more, and Circa provided that, and Anthony Green provided that, and Sound of Animals Fighting provided that, and all of the other weird offshoots that Anthony Green did, and the guys from RX Bandits, and one of the dudes from Circa did. So it was a fun time. It was a fun time in music, and it was a fun time for us.
It was.
I don't know what your question was, but that's all.
No. I mean, initial thought. It was your initial thoughts on this record.
Yeah, that's it.
So I mean, my thoughts are too. I mean, this was the first thing I heard, so I have a lot of memories, not just with you guys, but also with the Tower people when I worked at Tower Records, because this is also, Eternal Sunshine had just come out. And, when you're 18, 19 years old and you hang out with other 18, 19-year-olds who are into the scene, everybody loves that movie. I mean, that was the movie of those like 2-3 years. And this album just resonated so much with people, some of the people I hung out with at Tower, and because of that movie too, and watching that movie with them and listening to this record with them, as well as you guys, man, there's just so many cool memories and cool times with awesome people from every friend group. So yeah, and this record really is something for me. It was that weird thing that everybody I knew really enjoyed. It wasn't like, not everybody really likes Blink, but for whatever reason, everybody really loved this record at the time. So this is something we could all relate to and listen to and have a good time with. And yeah, this record is just, at the time, there was the closest thing that sounded to this would be like the Mars Volta. But even that is a real stretch because the Mars Volta is way more complex and out there than Circa. But this is probably the closest thing you can get to it.
That's
and
the
Coheed
thing, though. Like Circa, like comparing Circa to the Mars Volta is fair, and you can make that comparison. But the Mars Volta were like musicians playing music for music lovers, whereas Circa were just a bunch of kids. And, they're not kids, but they were just a bunch of kids playing Mars Volta music for a bunch of kids in the scene. And scene is its own scene. That scene clip, that carabiner attached to your keys, the tight pants, the emo haircut, the stuff that My Chemical Romance made an entire career out of. That was the scene, for better or worse. That was the scene. Yeah. And Circa played for them.
But they didn't dress like that. Like they didn't dress like MCR or
it wasn't
or
that
bands
it
or
wasn't
Taking
that
Back Sunday.
But they had tight pants.
They did, and going back and watching the Act Appalled video, that
terrible.
video is so of that time period. Just the way they dress, the way they move, the concept of that music video. It's so like bootleg. The video is so bootleg, but it's just so much of that. That's how people that was like that was the whole entire scene was in that video, and how people look like. It wasn't the craziness of MCR or like metalcore or anything like that. That was like the basicness of that scene. That's how most people looked and dressed and acted in the scene.
There was a big push for just like tight pants, plain T-shirts with nothing on them, and then either like Adidas or Onitsuka Tigers for your shoes, and just really kind of like extravagant, exotic shoes.
Yeah.
Like Vans didn't quite make the comeback until like 2010-ish in the scene.
Maybe a little bit earlier, yeah. Yeah.
But
it was only like a very,
At this time, it was for sure like Adidas, and then Onitsuka Tigers were fucking massive, especially in the Orange County scene.
Yeah, because Converse had kind of made their way out, out of the scene. Puma was coming back, but Converse were slowly going out for the most part. And it was a stupid time in like fashion and in the scene. It was fun.
Different. Yeah, it was different.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
I like that video though. I like the idea of the video. I just don't like the application of it. So if we're talking about Act Appalled,
Yeah.
right? I mean, do you want to go into that one, or do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, we might as well. We might as well, because I mean, you don't have any stinkers, right?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. So we might as well just start with Act Appalled, and then we could kind of say what our banger is on this one, if that, or where it sits in our banger list, right?
Yeah.
You want to do that? Okay, because since we already played it, so this is my 2B. Act Appalled is my 2B.
Damn, it's my 2B2.
There you go.
2B2.
So then, what were you saying about the video?
It's a jam video. It's a jam video, but they interpolate it with a real concept and something that was rampant at the time and still is and was. But it's like the idea of a girl going out and getting roofied at a bar and getting sexually assaulted. Like, that is a real concept, but it's undercut. It's undercut by the stupid fucking jam video. And the fact that they keep putting themselves in and disrupting the flow of like the feeling. It's just, I thought it was very disjointed, and I thought it was stupid, and I don't like it. But I like where their head was at, but it was just horrible application.
Yeah, I think it might be because it was a very dark subject, so they didn't want to like go all in on it. Maybe they wanted to keep it maybe a little more lighthearted, if that's even a good word to use in the situation.
It is
by having them in it, just to kind of dilute the darkness of it. So maybe that was it. I don't know.
I mean, that's exactly what it was. I mean, Anthony Green had not come out yet and talked about his mental health issues. He had not really discussed in depth why he had left Seosin. He not even come back to Seosin at this point. So in this scene, when Anthony Green left Seosin because he had personal issues to deal with, and then formed Circa, that was like everyone thought, oh my God, he must hate the dudes from Seosin. I can't believe he did that. So that was the scene though. Like, people didn't. It's not like it is today. The kids don't know what it's like back in the day. It's not like it is today, where people can actually say what's on their mind and say things and move forward and try and heal from it. In 2005, it was different. It was only 15, 16 years ago, but it was like the Wild West out there, man. This guy left a band because he just didn't want to do it anymore, and everybody tore him apart.
Yeah, they did. He was ridiculed quite a bit.
They tore him apart for years.
Because Seosin were about to blow up. I mean, they were going to explode.
That EP got a lot of buzz.
It did. I mean, it really did. And I mean, their first album with Cove, I mean, that was very popular. But had Anthony been in the band still, I think they would have been way, way bigger. But I mean, to leave a band like that it's pretty wild within the scene, especially because the scene was just. I mean, they were pumping out. There were so many great bands coming out of this scene, and especially on the East Coast with Taking Back Sunday, brand new, and it was just this whole thing was just thriving with great bands. It was weird. It was very weird. But then I remember talking to John too, and he was always on the forums at the time, and he said everyone knew it was because he was like coked out or heroin or whatever. Like, that was always the big issue. So, but nobody really wanted to talk about it. They just kind of like, brushed it under the rug, and that was it. So, but then, he was successful. He's been successful with Circa, so good for him.
He's been sober since like 2014.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. I mean, it's great. I mean, unfortunately, it took a little longer than I'm sure he wanted, but, 7 years sober now, it's not bad.
It's a long
not bad
time.
At all. Yeah.
Act Appalled, 2B.
2B. So we already played it. What do you got lyrically on this one?
So, like, if we're going to go back to the whole Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind type of thing, I think there's an underlying theme of this entire album. I don't think this entire album is about the movie, but I think the theme itself is in line with the movie. And just for like a quick synopsis, if anyone who's never seen, actually the last great Jim Carrey movie he's ever done is Eternal Sunshine.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, Yes Man was good, but
it's not nearly one of his best comedies. Yeah,
I think Eternal Sunshine is the last good movie Jim Carrey ever did.
You might be right.
I can't think of anything else because Bruce Almighty was before that. Cable Guy
was it
top 5?
Cable Guy
Jim
was
Carrey
way
movie.
before it.
Way before
Cable
that.
Guy's not top 5.
Oh, dude, Cable Guy's so good. He's a villain, bro. He's a villain, not in a stupid 23 way, in a good way.
Let's look at his.
I'm pretty
his
sure Eternal
filmography.
Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is the last good movie he's
man.
done. Prove me wrong.
I'm looking. Hold on.
Oh,
Give me
please,
a
because
second.
this was like
Give me a
2004.
second.
Come on, Jim Carrey. You had to have done
Let's-
something good since then.
Let's see what he's done since 2000. It was 2004, right? You said.
Yeah. To be
he
fair,
did series
too,
of
like-
unfortunate events in 2004, which was
The
also
Lemony Snickets?
yeah, that was good. That was good.
That was fine.
Fun with Dick and Jane was in 05. That was okay.
Meh.
Yes Man in 2008. I Love You, Philip Morris. What was that?
I never even heard or seen that
Yeah.
one.
Christmas Carol, that animated one, that was actually really good.
Meh.
And then I was on the episode of The Office. I forgot about that.
You're not wowing me here, kid.
Yeah, Mr. Popper's Penguins. No.
Never saw that one.
Yeah. The Incredible Burt Wonderstone. No.
Didn't see that one.
Kick-Ass 2. No.
You're definitely not wowing me, kid.
Dumb and Dumber 2. No.
Oh, and they spelled it T-O, like as if they're witty and funny.
I know. The Bad Batch. I don't know what that was.
Bad Batch.
Dark Crimes. I don't know what that is. And then Sonic the Hedgehog, which I heard was a pretty. It was an okay movie.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not technically a Jim Carrey movie, but he was
Yeah,
really
he's-
good in
yeah.
that movie.
I haven't seen it. But
Okay. It's a good movie. You should check it out. It's not as good as my theory for what Sonic the live action should be, but it's a good movie.
You're so dumb.
I'm just saying, it's a good movie.
But no, you're right. It's Eternal Sunshine was the best because before that, I mean, Bruce Almighty was funny. The Majestic was good. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I mean, it's classic. Me, Myself, and Irene, Man on the Moon, Truman Show, Simon Birch. Wait, he was in Simon Birch?
Yeah.
Fuck,
Oh, Simon Birch. Miss Chronic
That's
would
it.
cry every fucking. We watched
Every
it like 4
fucking
times. Cried
I
every
know.
time.
I know
Every
every
fucking
fucking time. So dumb.
I love. You know what? Like I used to make fun of her. I used to always.
Yeah.
I make fun of Miss Chronic a lot, but she was like the dopest teacher like I ever had. She was so
She was
real,
really cool.
and the fact that she kept putting Simon Birch on, knowing she's gonna break down and cry, like that shows how vulnerable she was, though, right?
Yeah.
Like
that's
she
true,
knows
yeah.
it's horrible, but much like the fucking Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, like you're not gonna not do something because of what happens in the meantime. The great Mitch Hedberg joke, like, "Hey, Mitch, do you want an apple?" He says no, because eventually it'll be a core. Like, no, the middle part is the best part. And that's going back to what the synopsis of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is two lovers decide they don't want to be together anymore and decide that it was so painstaking that they erase the memory of the other person. And they eventually meet again. Spoilers, they eventually meet again in Montauk, where they first met, and it's a whole cyclical thing. And they realize that they've already met before, and they realize that it didn't work out, but they still want to do it over again because maybe, just maybe, this time it'll be different. And that is what this album is about, is making mistakes, is about doing what is good right now, regardless of what will happen later. Just because an apple will eventually be a core, the middle part's really good.
Yeah.
So, what are we talking about?
Man.
Act Appalled. Yeah, so Act Appalled.
Act Appalled, yeah. but I mean, he uses that theme and that subject, but a lot of this album, or at least half of this album, is about his drug abuse and how it's overtaken his life. So it goes with the theme a bit, but there are also so many references to that movie as well. So, and also like a book called The House of Leaves, which I haven't read, but I'm sure you haven't read it either. But
The
apparently
fuck
there's
does
a
that
lot
mean? Because I don't read.
Yeah, I know you don't read books.
No.
You've only probably read one book since high school, right?
Well, that's not fair. Since college would be a fair assumption.
Okay. Since college, since you graduated in what, 2009, 2010?
Yeah, fucking 20 years after I started.
You've probably read one book.
To be fair,
in the
like
last 11 years.
To be fair, like word for word, I probably read more than a lot of people, just because I read the paper. I have multiple magazine subscriptions. So, okay, everybody out there,
You haven't
word
read a
for
book.
word. But
You
that
haven't
doesn't
read a
matter.
book.
That
It
doesn't.
does
What
matter.
does it matter?
It's because
Because what? Because books are better.
Because I say it matters.
You don't read books, then you're fucking stupid. Got
You
big
sound like
cheeks.
Ryan.
So, like, I think above all else, yes, there are problems on this album that he's talking about, but when you talk about a problem like addiction, he's trying really hard not to focus on the addiction itself, but the feeling that he has while being addicted, if that
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. And I think this album is entirely based around like the feeling in Eternal Sunshine, the feeling of, even though I know this is going to fuck me up, like the relationship from Kate Winslet and Jim Carrey, I'm still going to do it because it feels good up until that point where I get really fucked up. And who knows, maybe it'll be different this time. I don't know. But I think that's the point of this album is the middle ground. This is a middle ground album.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's what that Act of Paul is about. This is a very vulnerable, self-conscious song about someone, Anthony, who has to lie and cheat and to get attention or even friendship. And I think like he knows they're different for whatever that means, quote unquote different, and feels they need to trick people into like being their friend while the entire time feeling they need to get back to this moment of clarity or their center, as he says. Doesn't feel like himself. He's trying to get back to what he felt like before all this happened. And I think the feeling is there. The feeling is what he wants you to understand, not why he's feeling that. It's not the drugs that are doing it. It's because he's feeling it is doing it.
Yeah, and I've noticed that. I noticed that with a lot of these songs, the metaphors he uses and the words he uses, they can be very ambiguous, and you can take it as both a relationship with somebody else, whether it be a friend or lover, or it could be about his drug abuse. And I feel like this is one of those songs. He wants to, like, if you look at it from a drug aspect, he hides behind like a facade. He tries to be a normal person in front of everybody, but in the end, he knows he's destroying himself. He's an addict. He knows he's an addict. He knows he's destroying himself with whatever he's using, and it's just tearing him down. But he keeps up the facade, so people don't look down on him as being a drug addict and as ruining his life or whatever. And he's just, in the end, it's just kind of destroying his and everybody else's, the people around him, their lives. So that's kind of what I also got from this. For if you're looking at it from like an addict standpoint or a more personal standpoint like that. So that's what I got on this one. Yeah. And then get back to the center, like what you're saying, get back to the center is like him wanting to kick the drugs and get back to like how he felt before he was seduced by cocaine. Like a lot of this I think is based around cocaine and booze. So I think that's kind of what he's, at least for me, I think that's what he's kind of referring to.
I agree. I think this album is like a cry for help type of thing, but I really don't think that he wants us to focus on the cocaine, the booze, the drug part, but he wants us to focus on his mental stability at that moment. I think that's what he's really pushing for, and that's why it's so ambiguous. It's because he doesn't want us to think, oh, this is an addiction song, and then write it off as such. This is a song where he feels, and then da-da-da-da-da, yada, 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 as Elaine from Seinfeld. Yada, yada, yada.
I feel like his lyrics, too, there were a few times on this record, a couple songs where I couldn't figure out what he was trying to say. I read some of the lyrics to these songs over and over, but I couldn't figure it out. Luckily, Actapalda wasn't one of them, but some of them are they're too much.
And there's a fine line between staying in theme and then just throwing out a bunch of random string of words and then saying you're staying in theme. And I think he dances that line pretty well.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there's some shit here. You're right. That just like, come on, bro. No.
Yeah, I can't figure it out. So, do we have anything else on Actapalda? I mean, because we played it, and then, I mean, this song starts off heavy and fast, right to the point. That da-na-na-na, it's just like the downstrokes of the guitar and everything kind of rolling along, and he comes in pretty quick too. Like there's not much of an intro at all, and then it gets kind of like loose. Loose is a bad word, but it gets kind of like swingy with the drums and everything. And then there's that one part, I guess, kind of between the verses where it's very swingy and then it goes doo-doo. It's just that those two hits right there on the guitar.
Dude, that's like one of the best parts of the song. It's so good.
That's my favorite part of the song.
That's like right when it starts with "To Fool Them In," like down, and then "To Fool Them In,"
and then you have the high guitar part doing that little lead part, just that boom boom. it's very almost like Refused. It's something Refused would have done years, like 10 years prior, but in this context, in like the indie scene. I don't know. I love that. It's the best part of the whole song. One of the best parts on the whole record.
I think this is the only song on the entire record where everybody is kind of on their own. And then when like that slow down part after the frantic intro, where it slows down a little bit. I mean, that's so like post-hardcore. And then,
oh yeah,
dude, everyone is just, but like this is the only time where everyone is really just doing something totally different, and they come together in the chorus. If you remember, everyone's just noodling and just doing their own thing and going off, and then they come together just so perfectly.
I love it. And then they even they give themselves a little break too. That's like where everybody just stops and lets their instruments ring out for like half a bar, and then it just goes right back into the song. Like you get this perfectly timed break from, because everything is just nonstop. Nobody stops. And then all of a sudden it's that break that really makes the song really good too. Yeah. But awesome song. Awesome, great song.
It's a good song.
But,
it's 2B.
Yeah, it is a 2B. So how many bangers do you have on this record?
I think 7.
Okay, I got 5.
Yeah, 7
got
bangers.
Got 5 Bs. So then what's your number one?
Dude, my number 1B is, it's from the moment I heard this song till today, it is still the greatest thing Anthony's ever done. And that even every side project, anything he's ever done, it's In Fear and Faith. That's my 1B too. It's too good. Chilling, dude. It's chilling. It fucking is chilling to me. I get goosebumps, and it is unbelievable how good this song is.
I know. This is
my
favorite. This is my favorite Circa song ever. This is just, there's nothing wrong with this one. The opening guitar, the high guitar part, and then the bass comes in just so heavy, and then Anthony comes in with "Can We Last Through the Winter?" I think that first line too just sets up the song so well. And it's almost like it's a very unsettling sounding song, and especially once you get him saying that, it's almost like you kind of know you're in for like an experience or like a ride on this song. It's so good.
This is a song you essentially need to minimum listen to 3 times. One for the vocals, or like one just to get a grasp on it. One just so you can focus on the vocal part, because I think the lyrics are really fucking cool. And then one just for the bass. Yeah. The bass is the best bass song that Circa's ever done.
He does some great parts, some great noodling like randomly throughout it. It's set up so perfectly. Like first of all, it swells in, right? There's like that little swell that goes in, and then you got clean guitar chords, that ding 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 ding, and then there's a drum beat that leads into it afterwards, but it's like broken, and the drum beat comes in like halfway through its beat, and it's really weird, but it's fucking badass. And then the bass, like, what are you even doing here? The first verse, he's doing that downward with doo doo doo, and the second verse is going up doo doo doo, and then the third verse, he's back at the first verse riffage, but it's faster, as if he's like packing more notes in, like he's rushing to get it all in, and then going like along the lines of what we'll talk about in the lyrical theme, like he's getting it all in before everything is over. And it's just the bass is subtly driving this entire song forward, and every verse that he comes in is completely different, and the bass is just, dude, I don't even know why this song is so well produced, because there's other songs too that have a great bass line on this album that don't sound as dynamic as this. You're right. You're totally right. I feel like this almost was like mixed differently than the rest of the record. It sounds very, very different. It's one of the few standout tracks on this record. Just sonically, absolutely sonically. And what's the structure of the song is really weird too, because you get the first verse, and then you get like everything kind of like just stops, and then he just says, "Congratulations, go home now," and then he goes straight into the second verse, and then after the second verse he does that again, and then it goes into the chorus finally. So you get like almost halfway through the song before you even hit the chorus. And it's such a weird thing. So you get the chorus, then a bridge, and then the chorus again before you kind of round it out with the outro. So the structure of the song is very, very unusual. But for whatever reason, it works really well. That break of just congratulations, go home now it shouldn't be as welcoming as it is to the ears, but it works really well. I don't know.
Dude, the fact that they can even go from like groovy and complex to quiet and slow and then drop right back into heavy and loud is just, it's absolutely amazing.
And they go right back into the second verse with just like one snare hit, and then it just goes back into what they were doing. It shouldn't work. It should not work at all, but I don't know how they pulled it off. I really don't know how it works so well with
Dude, the bass line in the second verse is just, it's so fucking good. It's so fucking perfect. And the way he plays it is he breaks it up just a little tiny bit. And there's a couple notes that are missing, and it's like you can hear it so damn well, and you know where it's going, and then he doesn't do what you think he's going to do, but then in the next riff does the exact same thing, and it's, I don't know, man. It's very weird to describe, but you just gotta hear it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So here's I'm going to play a little bit of it right now, and then we'll get into the lyrics and everything else. So here's In Fear and Faith from Circa Survives. There you go. A bit of In Fear and Faith from Circa Survive. It's crazy. Literally halfway through the song before you even hear that first chorus. It's pretty cool, man. And like you said, the bass line, it's absolutely killer. It's just, I don't know. It's just such a cool way of playing it, and it's much faster than what everybody else is doing almost. I don't know. It's absolutely killer. No big riffs or anything, but
it reminds me of how good the bass line is in like Longview by Green Day, where you get that solid bass line, and you think, okay, cool. And the next time it comes up, how could Dern really do it better? And he does. Mm-hmm. He hits those little like hammer-ons real quick. And it's like it's just a little bit of a flair that he adds to the same bass line. And that's what's going on here. It's the same fucking bass line. Instead of going up, he's just going down now, or vice versa. Mm-hmm. And then just adding a little bit of choppiness to it. And I think it's genius. It's truly genius.
It is. It's genius in its almost simplicity. You know, he's not winking or anything. It's just nothing complicated, but for whatever reason it's so effective and it works so well for the song. And like I was saying, like there's no big heavy guitar riffs until you get to the chorus. You know, it's just the high guitar playing, and it's just bass driven for the first like minute and 50 seconds or so. It's just fucking bass driven. It's great.
3 notes. Do do do. It's 3 notes the entire time instead of the first verse do 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 going down. It goes do 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 going up.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, he just plays it like in a weird I guess syncopation. Is that would that be the right?
I mean, he's like
Right term.
fingering the notes, so he's adding like 14 fucking note,
Yeah.
and so it's
It's
adding
so
like a
good.
little bit to it, and like the choppiness, the doo doo, like that kind of shit. Like whatever he's doing, it's so easy, it's so childish, it's so basic, but like that's the beauty of it. Like that's the
Yeah.
beauty of it.
Yep, that's the beauty of life, right? But that's the song, right? That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of life, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's probably been
Wait,
said in a
isn't that
song
like
before.
a Queen song? Isn't that in a Queen song?
That's the beauty of life.
That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of life. Dude, it's a song I fucking know. What is that song?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, whatever. So, what do you got lyrically on In Fear and Faith?
So like putting it simply, I think this is about a boy who loves a girl, but the girl loves someone else, and the boy is devastated. He's devastated when she doesn't choose him, even after he professes his love to her. And I think all in all, she doesn't love anybody. She just loves playing the field. She just loves the chase, that type of thing. She doesn't love anything because towards the end we hear him say, it's that start and stop and go you've been dying for.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like the thrill of the hunt type of thing. I think that's what he knows that she likes. And he knows that it's never going to work out. And going along the line, the fuck am I even saying? Going in theme with the album, it's not about the ending. It's about the middle part. It's about the journey. He doesn't care
Journey is the
that he knows.
destination, right?
He knows. They get the fuck out of here. Every time we text in our group chat, you always talk about that's stupid, but it's about the journey. He knows that it's never going to work out, but he doesn't care because the middle part is what really matters. And then I think this also goes along the lines of Eternal Sunshine. Like that's the middle part is what counts. The fact that this couple didn't work out the first time, they erased each other from their memories, and they're going to do it again, knowing that it's probably not going to work out this time. They still do it. Why? Because the journey is what matters. They still like the middle ground. And yeah, it could turn out shit. But that's high risk, high reward, baby. That's why we live in a gambling country and a society. That's what we do.
So, I mean, if relating it to Eternal Sunshine, that makes sense. But like, if you take Eternal Sunshine out of it, my kind of interpretation of this one is, this is kind of him talking about a failing relationship, and he's just kind of wondering how much longer it's going to last. And he's ready for her to leave because he just knows it's not gonna happen. So he's just kind of letting it run its course, but then thinking like, how long before it actually does end? Because he knows it's gonna end, but he's kind of like afraid to end it himself. So he's waiting until she gets fed up enough to end it, to cut it off with him. And that's kind of what I think it is. It's almost like this cowardice when it in a relationship where you want it to end, but you're too afraid to take that step. So you're waiting for the other person to be fed up enough to do it for you. So then you don't look like the bad guy really, and she does, or he does. So that's kind of what if you're taking it out of the context of Eternal Sunshine, that's what I got on this one.
I got like three contexts here. I could do it all, baby.
Okay.
I love this
go
song.
for it, man. Go for it.
Going along the lines of what I was saying already, and then kind of coinciding with your girlfriend theme, I do think it's about overall. I think this song is meant for us to take a step back and then look at our own personal lives and seeing why are we not in control of some situation. But let's take it from the relationship aspect first. The line where he says, "Taking the wrong step, falling in front of me," I think that is also coinciding with him loving somebody else and then watching them do the wrong things in front of him and then falling on their fucking face and saying he knows that this girl dating this other guy is not good for her, but she does it anyway. And he can see that he's not good for her, but she does it anyway. And that's the middle ground. That's the middle ground. Who knows? Maybe she knows it's not good for her, but that's not what the point is. The point is the middle ground. The point is the feeling. And I think I think it goes deep into that theme. There's a lot of self-denial here where the boy is so hurt. He's now shielding himself and he's acting like he never even loved her, right? Because he says, like, I never even loved you. And so I think there's a lot of self-denial. There's a lot of middle ground here.
Well, even the part where he says, congratulations, go home now. Like that right there kind of exemplifies your point. So that congratulations, go home now I saw that as like, oh, great. Like you fucked him. Great. You hooked up with him. Just go home. Like I'm done with you. Like that type of, because nobody says congratulations. Like nobody says congratulations. Even when you're congratulating somebody, there's always a bit of like, that word itself, just there's always a bit of like envy to it, right? There's always like a little bit of that. And when you put like congratulations, it's a boy. There's always a little bit of like child envy, and there's always a little smidge in there. It's just a gross word. It's a word that has been perverted in our society, and I think he chooses his words carefully. Sometimes I think he just word vomits, but in here, I think he chose his words carefully, and I think overall, there's this concept of like I don't know. He pretends like he can only make it through this proverbial winter, and then he'll be okay. But he knows he may never be because a girl doesn't even like anybody. And like I said, she just wants to play the field. And he knows that she'll never love him. She'll never love anybody. But he don't care. He don't care. She's such a free spirit.
And the outro, the last line, he says, "You've been dying for." So this entire time he's been kind of like beating around the bush of how can we do this? Can we, like the opening line is, can we last through the winter? And the last one is you. So now he's taking it from the plural we, and now he's saying you, to where he's disconnecting himself from her and finally realizing that fuck, this ain't gonna happen. And I think that middle ground from going from we to you is what the point of this song was, is to make you feel very alone, very sad.
Yeah. But it's also a little bit of growth too, like finally cutting out. I think by the end of a year, he's kind of cutting her out of his life, you know, which is in theme to Eternal Sunshine, because that was kind of that was the thing, you know, it was them erasing their memories, and I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're only fucking,
makes sense.
We're 5 songs deep in this album, and again, like the bandmate said, "Oh, I didn't even read the House of Leaves book, or we didn't really talk about Eternal Sunshine that much. It was just like loosely based."
Bullshit.
Like, no, dude, you guys were clearly like fucking gushing over this movie, as was everybody else.
Everybody was, yeah.
Like in
Even
2004,
to this day, people love it.
Yeah, like it's an incredible movie. I actually rewatched it this week too in preparation.
I
for
wish
this.
I would have rewatched it.
I did. I don't think it's Jim. I don't think it's a top 5 Jim Carrey movie, just because it's not a Jim Carrey movie. It's just really, really good writing and really good effects. And for 2004, for the subtle effects that they were using, because Jim Carrey doesn't say a lot during the movie. He just kind of is there. And then sometimes in the whole like bed scene with Mark Ruffalo and then Spider-Man's girlfriend, Kristen Dunst, he's just laying there the whole time.
Spider-Man's girlfriend.
I forgot what her name was. She did the upside down kiss with Spider-Man. Who doesn't want to kiss Spider-Man upside down? Are you kidding me? You tell me Spider-Man look in front of you, not kiss him upside down. Fucking everybody better kiss Spider-Man upside down. But anyway, it's not like a Jim Carrey movie. It's a story-driven movie. Jim Carrey just happened to be in it. Such as like The Truman Show is also a very, very good story, but that is a Jim Carrey movie.
It is, yeah. He is the sole character. He's the sole main character. Yeah.
So I think like Eternal Sunshine is still an underrated movie. Even I texted our neighbor this week if she wanted to watch it, because they like watching movies, and she's like, "Nah, I'm really stupid," and I was so mad. I'm still mad about it. So it's a severely underrated movie, and even still to this day. But I don't know if I'd say top 5 Jim Carrey.
I think it's like it's Dumb and Dumber, Eternal Sunshine, or vice versa. Like one of the. I mean, they fight for the number one for me. I think Eternal Sunshine is.
You had it right for a second.
Dumb and
Dumber is his best, hands down, easy, done.
Eternal Sunshine, though, for me overall is a top 10 movie of all time, of any movie.
Yeah, that is. That's crazy.
I love Eternal. I love this. I love the movie. That's
crazy. That's crazy.
It's so good. That's fine. It's whatever.
It is good. It is really good.
I'm very much of this scene. You know, I grew up in this scene, so it has to be one of my favorite movies. So,
I personally put Cable Guy above it, but that's fine.
Nah, dude, Cable Guy's great, but come on, Sunshine is better. Come on. Come on. Even the first Ace Ventura is better than Cable Guy. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad you at least agree with that.
I'd say like top 5 is probably like Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, Truman Show, and then Cable Guy.
Man on the Moon is so good too.
Man on the Moon is good, but you're basing off of source
really
material.
good.
Like come on.
True. But he did it so well. He played the Andy Kaufman character so well. Both characters.
Because he's
Not
the
just
only
Andy
person
Kaufman,
that even
but-
ever like really tried to do it. Everyone else is so afraid to do it. No one else ever did it. He just,
I don't know why.
He was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And like not like Andy Kaufman's like, I mean, he was iconic for his time, but come on, just an ugly dude. He's just an ugly white dude. Come on. And Jim Carrey did it.
Shit though too. It's true. Andy Kaufman was fucking weird person. Like what he was doing back in the 70s and 80s, man. Weird fucking guy.
Dude, did you know that Ace Ventura, The Mask, and then I think Dumb and Dumber were all released in the same year?
Let's see. I still have his IMDb open. So
1994, I think it was.
Just in case we brought him up again. So yeah, The Mask was 94. Dumb and Dumber was 94. The first Ace. No, you're right. All three movies in 1994.
3 movies in a year.
Yeah.
1994.
3 movies in 1 year. And then he did Batman Forever in 95. Wait, no. Dude, okay, wait, here we go. From 1994 to 1996, this is what he did. He did Ace Ventura, like this is the big stuff he did. 94, 96 to 96. Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Batman Forever, the second Ace Ventura, and The Cable Guy.
Damn.
Between 94 and 96. 3 years right there. He did all of that. Dude, I thought it was spread out way more than that.
I thought
it was like
3 movies in a year. That's crazy talk.
Yeah. I thought these movies were spread out over like 6 or so years. I didn't realize this was all in 3 years.
In 3 years, he started and ended the Ace Ventura franchise.
Yeah. That's wild.
That's crazy.
And then did all of that in between and did all of that stuff in between.
No big deal.
Wow. That's remarkable.
Dad.
And it's funny, like what you look at what he did before and after, just they don't hold a torch to that stuff.
It's
outside of
very
Sunshine.
It's very hit or miss with mostly misses.
Yeah, with a lot of misses. Yeah. But yeah, man, Truman Show, Me, Myself, and Irene was good. Man on the Moon, The Majestic was good. Bruce Almighty, obviously good. Liar, Liar, great. Dude,
I think
he's put out some great stuff.
I mean, not to go into like an entire Jim Carrey thing, but I think Truman Show is his best dramatic performance, with Eternal
as
only
like
being second, just because aside from those two, he has nothing else.
Yeah, because he's also the co-star, like you were saying, he's the co-star of Sunshine. So yeah,
but
as the soul,
stars, man.
But The Majestic was good too.
That was good.
Yeah, that was. Oh, the number 23. Remember that one?
That was like his other like weird horror thing that he was trying to do, and
it was still good. It wasn't bad at all.
It didn't click at first.
Yeah.
Then people watched it and were like, "Oh, Jim Carrey can do things that is not just funny."
Yeah, that was. I remember seeing that one in theaters with Tammy. Yeah, that was a good one. Not nearly one of his best, but it was still good. So, damn. Okay. So do we have anything else on In Fear and Faith, or what do you think? No,
that's it. I'm good. I redeleted my notes, so we're good.
Okay. So then what do you got for your number 3 banger?
3B is Holding Someone's Hair Back, the opener.
Oh, man, dude, that is my number 3 as well.
Damn, Gina.
This rarely happens where everything is lining up. Holy shit. Yeah, that's my 3B.
Okay.
Oh, man. This one was obviously heavily inspired by Eternal Sunshine. This is pretty much the synopsis of the movie, lyrically at least. I just wanted to throw that one out there up front.
Yeah.
Because that is, it's straight up a synopsis. But musically, it's not your typical opener to an album. It's not the most exciting thing. It's just weird. It doesn't make sense, but it's amazing at the same time.
It's cool because it doesn't make sense, and it's a little unconventional. But when we get down later on to like the bonus song House of Leaves, and then the cyclical nature of the ending of that song coinciding into the beginning of this one, and how this album just essentially loops over and over and over, which also coincides with the movie of Eternal Sunshine, where if you think about theoretically, like we could just erase our memories and start over from the beginning, but then end up at the same point, but then erase our memories. And this is that cyclical nature. So like when this band says,
especially when you're not learning anything.
Yeah.
You know,
So
you keep
especially
making the same errors.
Especially when this band says like this isn't directly about it. Like this album is completely about Eternal Sunshine, and like even from the soundscapes and everything. But whatever, holding someone's hair back. That opening soundscape gets me excited. When I first listened to this last week, when I was kind of done with AFI listen through, and I put this on our big speakers downstairs, it can get pretty loud, and just I threw it on, and before I even walked away, that soundscape came in, and it brought me back to like 2005, and it was just unbelievable how fast it did that. They're ringing out chords over the drum beat, and then you layer on the bass. And the bass has a subtle like slide to it, right?
It does, and also the drums are just so simple. They're nothing crazy. They're not wanky. They're not super groovy. It's just like a pretty generic drum beat, starting off at least.
Dude, the bass climbing action right before the chorus, gold, pure gold.
Yeah, the
little solo or lead part, I guess, into the second verse. That sounds like some last minute shit. It sounds like something they were doing in the studio, and he's like, I'm gonna go real quick, and just like ripped it out real quick, and like, oh, that was pretty fucking good. And then they carried it on into the verse.
So I'm just gonna play this song, and I'm just gonna start just without even a fade in. So here's holding someone's hair back from Circa Survive. There you go, holding someone's hair back from Circa Survive. I wanted to play up through the transition back into that second verse because, I mean, that is my favorite part of this entire song. Just that high guitar part. It's just it's so weird, and it's such a weird transition back into that second verse. And just like you were saying, like the different soundscapes that they use on this, it's so effective. And there are many parts of the song that remind me a lot of what Deftones do in their music, because they use a ton of soundscapes in their music and just kind of unconventional ways of writing songs. And I feel like that's this song. There's a lot of Deftones influence on this. So it's great. It's fantastic.
So yeah, I thought there was a lot of Omar in some of these higher like post-hardcore guitar noodlings in the background. Very Omar-like in the vein of like At the Drive-In Status, that Metronome Arthritis, that dee-doo, those random pickings.
Oh yeah.
Like that type of stuff.
I can totally hear that. Killer song. And what you were saying about the bass line and the verses too, it's a lot like the it kind of reminds me a lot of what they were doing in Actapald too, that doo-doo. It's just the sudden, I don't even know how to even explain it. It's just like the suddenness of those notes and how they're quickly cut short. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it.
That's kind of what it is.
It's just a cool bass line.
Because again, the bass is hitting the bass is hitting 3 notes, and that last note he's kind of sliding.
Yeah, it's because it's not a bend. It's not really a bend. It's more of a slide. Yeah,
it's so subtle though, and like they purposely keep it like tight. They purposely keep it at the back, but it's there. It's there if you listen to it. It's there if you want it. Don't gotta take it if you don't want it. Don't worry about it. Keep on walking. So it's good stuff, man.
Stupid.
And yeah, I think this is definitely one that was inspired by Eternal Sunshine. I think the phrase itself, holding someone's hair back, that is always reminding me of girls holding the hair back of their best friend while they're barfing.
Yeah, that's what I always hear. That's what I always think of.
Okay, because I Googled, for whatever that's worth, holding someone's hair back, and the only thing that popped up was Circa Survive. But I think that's what it is. I think about being vulnerable, and then when you're barfing, that's
a low point.
Quite possibly your lowest point is when you're fucking barfing your brains out.
I know.
And if you got your homie behind you holding your hair back, anybody with long hair really, or anybody like proverbial hair, just taking care of you while you're barfing. If that person is still there while you're done barfing, then that's something to be said, right? That is something to be said, because watching a human barf is
it's weird. It's gross.
Rough. It's rough. Yeah. It is rough. Barfing itself is rough, but watching somebody you care about,
a gross act.
Things should not come out the way they do that fast out that hole in your face. So it's a very vulnerable position. And I think just the title itself, holding someone's hair back, being the opening track, I think is already setting the standards, already setting the stage of this is going to be a vulnerable album. Given that, I think the song explores someone forgetting someone, right? Or better yet, already having forgotten the person, and coincides with Eternal Sunshine.
I agree with you. It's them just kind of, if you're taking Eternal Sunshine out of it, it's them just cutting all ties with said person, and that's pretty much it. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's too closely related. It's hard to even like take this out of context of that movie, because
and you should.
I have it so embedded in my mind that it's so hard for me to take it out of that. So I got nothing else really lyrically on this one, just because it's a synopsis of the movie, the storyline in the movie.
And like, I don't know why they so quickly distance themselves from the movie. Maybe because when the movie came out, it was kind of a flop, and then later on it became like a cult classic and a sleeper. Yeah. But I don't know why you would dismiss your source material so quickly. It's very unlike.
Well, maybe it's also because. Well, maybe also it's because this is their debut record, and they don't want to be pigeonholed as a band that can't write music outside of being inspired directly by something. Like maybe people could think about this band that they have no real talent because they're taking ideas from something else. They have no real substance.
That's true. And the fact
they want to distance themselves from that.
That there was already so much pressure on Anthony from leaving Seosin and then forming a new band. And I can't even imagine what pressure would be like for him at this time. So it does make sense.
And forming a band that is pretty different from what he was doing in Seosin. Because Seosin were much more aggressive. They were much faster. They were way more energetic than Circa. But Circa is very laid back, a little more. They're more complex in the layerings of what they're doing. It's very different music. So, and to do something way less energetic than Seosin I can imagine it was probably very nerve wracking and scary putting this out, because everybody wanted more of Translating the Name. They wanted more of that EP, and this is not that at all. This is very different. It's a great record, though. There's
not even, outside of like the side projects and things like that, there's not even a lot of bands that sound like Circa, even coming out of the emo prog rock scene. There's just not like, and then the bands that do sound kind of similar have hooked up. Like RX Band is Chiodos. A lot of these bands have hooked up and done other side projects with each other. So it's a very niche genre that Circa really kind of decided to take the step forward and say, okay, we are here. Here we are. We're done. Let's do it.
The one band that might come kind of close, but only, musically, would be a brief period of Thrice's career. I mean, obviously, Dustin and Anthony Green sound nothing alike, but there are a lot of musical aspects that are similar between the two bands, and that's why they toured so much. And that's honestly why I've seen Circa Survive so much over the years, was because I've seen them open up for Thrice, like probably 3 times, outside of seeing Circa headlining shows. But yeah, I mean, they kind of go hand in hand with Thrice of this kind of era of like Visu up through their hiatus.
That's what I was. I mean, being the huge Thrice fan that I am, I think like Alchemy. That's those 4/2 albums are very much like this. Yeah, they're very vulnerable. They're very different. They're very. Here's what we got to say. If you don't like it, then fuck me, I guess. Yeah, type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. They really just did it for themselves, and that was it. They kind of didn't care about what other people were going to think.
I mean, they must not have, because that Earth, I think it was the Earth one. Yeah, the Earth album from Alchemy was.
Air was the worst for me.
Maybe it was the Air one.
Yeah, Air was the worst.
I think it was Earth. I think it was Earth because Earth I thought was going to be more down to earth, more acoustic driven, and it was kind of lame.
I mean, the Air and Earth were the tough ones to get through, but Fire and Water, fucking forget about it.
It was fire.
Okay, so do we have anything else on holding someone's hair back?
No.
What do you think?
Nah.
So then, what's your 4B? Are we still gonna match up? What do you think?
Here we go. It's With Resign.
Oh,
no,
okay.
Guess
yeah,
not.
that's not my 4B. Sorry.
What's your 4B?
Yeah, my 4B is Oh Hello.
Oh.
Yeah, Oh Hello.
Interesting.
That one. That's a killer song. But let's go with
that's my 7B.
Wish Resign, right?
Yeah, Wish Resign. With Resign. Wish Resign.
It's Wish, right?
I think it's Wish. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Wish Resign. Yeah. So what do you got? What do you got on this one?
First of all, it opens up with a rad lick. Right.
It is that's a
fucking
good,
dope ass lick. It's heavy. It's effective. There's a lot of sounds here. There's guitar screeches, feedbacks, and there's this overall kind of feeling of an uneasiness. Makes you feel a little bit weird. And Circa can do that. They can throw a lot of ambient noises at you that just make you kind of feel weird. And there's a lot of noise in the chorus. Just like a wave of sound that requires multiple listens to even like discern what's going on. There's just a lot of noise, and it's not even pleasant, but it's deliberately not pleasant. That's what they were going for. Like they didn't, you know what I mean? Like it's it sounds like shit, to be honest. Like it sounds like trash. It sounds like shit, but I think that's what they were going for, and that goes along with the uneasiness of the song itself.
It does. And so, I mean, with that heavy guitar riff too, you kind of, the drums kind of come in and they're very swingy and very open sounding. So it's also this like weird, it's this combination of sounds and instruments that shouldn't normally sound good, but it still does. And like you were saying, it is a little unsettling at points. And then there are like random buildups in the song that kind of almost don't really lead anywhere, but they just kind of build up back into the swinginess of kind of just the song. It's a weirdly structured song, and that's kind of why I didn't put it as a banger for me. It's definitely not a stinker, but it's a little too out there for me to really get on board with. But it's still good.
Okay.
But yeah, like you said, that opening riff is so good and so just crunchy, like almost sludgy and heavy. I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's the only
time on this entire album that is really truly just like heavy rock, like hard heavy rock, without being weighed down by prog or emo or any of the other genres. It's just straight up like heavy rock. It's just taking that riff on its own. It's some shit you could hear like Sabbath playing or any kind of the heavy metal bands.
Especially of the late 70s, early 80s, maybe. Yeah. I could totally see that.
That's good.
It's good stuff. So should we play it and then get into the lyrics, or what do you think?
Nah, I got 7 Bs. I'm sure we have more Bs that overlap. So let's get on to the next one, because the next one, your 4B is a B for me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because I do want to play my 4B. So, because I think Oh Hello, I mean, the way it kind of it's heavy and fast right off the start, and that quick little build up into Anthony's scream, because this is the only time on this record that he screams, is that opening part of Oh Hello.
He doesn't scream that often. Like we said, like it's like a handful of times that he screams over the course of Circa's career.
Yeah, you're totally right. And then that guitar riff too is very heavy. That wait, I can't even like do it with my voice, but
it's frantic. This entire song is frantic. There's a lot of stuff going on.
It's a lot to unpack, and it's a song that you need to listen to at least twice to really kind of get what's going on and get the picture. It's great. And then just the opening line, "Didn't I know you, mystery man?" I don't know. I've always really liked. He has a lot of good opening lyrics. You know, from holding someone's hair back to act appalled. I don't know. It's just there's something about that his first lines of a song that are just captivating for whatever reason.
They're strong. He knows how to come out swinging. He knows how to grab you right from the get go.
Right from the start, yeah. Because he does have some really, like we've talked about, he has some really, really great lines. But you know what? Let's just play Oh Hello, just because we need some energy back. So here it is from Circa Survive. There you go. Oh Hello from Circa Survive.
Hello.
One of my favorite lyrics is in this song too. Is the quick dilation is the only chance we have left. I don't know. I just always love that lyric, and then in the context of this song, I feel like it works so well. It plays so well with what he's trying to get across. At least what I think he's trying to get across. It's a killer song, man.
Okay.
What do you think about this one?
I don't know. We already talked about it. Like musically, I think it's quite the different intro than we're used to hearing on the album. It's this hard rock instrumental with the scream, and that's like off-putting, coming off of which I think is kind of the low point of this album is the previous 3 tracks: Golden Boy or Golden Baby, Fucking Car, and then We're All Thieves, and then getting to Oh Hello. It's intense. It's frantic.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on, and there's some really quick guitar noodling going on here that I think is so damn good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is.
That's I don't know. That's the high point for me. This is my last B though. This is my 7B.
How can it be so low?
It barely made it. It barely made it. That is to say that I'm trying to do this thing now where, like, I love this album through and through, but. Like, not everything has to be a B. I can still love the album entirely and not everything be like a banger. Because
True.
I don't know about you, but like the Golden Baby, Stop the Fucking Car, and We're All Thieves are not Bs for me.
I think Stop the Fucking Car is my 5B, but I get what you mean by The Great Golden Baby and We're All Thieves, because it's definitely I feel like those 3 songs are like a trilogy. You know, you kind of get the climax and the rising action are in Stop the Fucking Car, but everything else is like a build up to that, or like the resolution to that song. You know, it's it's a good 3 songs all together as one, but yeah, I get what you mean.
Stop the Fucking Car is the only one that I would maybe put as a B, just because it's the only time in the entire album that lets Anthony and Steve, the drummer, play around with each other and just kind of be kind of like playful, and it's cool. It's a cool part.
It's almost like a predecessor to what we heard on Dissensus and The Amulet. Like you get a lot of busy drumming on that song.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of cool buildups in that song. And like you said, like the way him and Anthony play off of each other, I think is unique, and it's very of this, what this band would become later in their career. That's one of the reasons why I like that song. But Oh Hello is also, the lyrics to me, I think are just so killer too. To me, it's kind of like it can be the perspective of Eternal Sunshine and of her character in that. It's the only time on this record where it takes her perspective rather than Jim Carrey's perspective, and which was nice. It was nice to see. It was nice to see something different, and then just his use of metaphors in the song and relating that to the cocaine use, and like I said, the lines where he said, "All along, all we've been given is the ugliest things. All along, we've been a mess. Now, quick dilation is the only chance we have left." Oh, it's so good. The use of the word dilation and cocaine, because obviously the use of cocaine, it makes your eyes super dilated, and just the quickness of it. I don't know. I think it's a great metaphor for their relationship and the drug use of his own drug use. I think it's fantastic on this song.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's again, like there's so many different ways you could take this. And to be fair, like Kate Winslet's narrative in Eternal Sunshine is the same as Jim Carrey's narrative, right? It's the same fucking thing. They both didn't like each other, and they both erased their memory, and they both fell in love again. So but I think that also coincides with what he's feeling. Is the reason why he numbs the pain is because he's wanting the other person to feel the way he feels. It doesn't matter if they do or not. But it's that middle ground again. We're coming back to it. The middle ground. It's that wondering: do they feel the same? But we're not. We're not at the ending yet. We're not led to believe that the person does feel the same. That the person does not feel the same. Doesn't matter. It's that worrying stage. That staying up all night stage. That staying up all night doing coke stage. It's that worrying. That hopelessness you almost feel. And I think that's again overall what I think Anthony was really trying to convey in this entire album, while masking it as an inspiration from Eternal Sunshine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed, man. I totally agreed.
He
does it so well. He does it so fucking well. So yeah, that's my 4B.
Okay.
Do you got anything else on Oh Hello?
I do not.
So then let's get into your 5B. What do you got? Because I already did my 5B. So. We'll stop the fucking car. So this is all you. The rest of the way out, because I only got 5 Bs.
Oh, okay. Well, my 5B is...
So what do we got?
As you could probably guess, this would have been a B. My 5B is Meet Me in Montauk.
Mm-hmm.
Montauk. Ha, ha.
Ah, yes.
Like Haunter. Ha, ha, ha.
So dumb.
So I will say Meet Me in Montauk is my 5B. House of Leaves, which is the secret song, the fan...
That was a tough one for me.
Name song. That, I guess it has to be my 5B because it's a part of Meet Me in Montauk.
Yeah.
But if it was its own song, it would have been my 4B.
Really? Like this is a song that I never really listened to prior to this week.
Okay.
I really just, because it was a secret song, I never really listened to Meet Me in Montauk that much because it was acoustic, and I never really, for a long time, I never really liked his vocals acoustic with an acoustic guitar. It just wasn't my thing. So I never really listened past it. And so I never really listened to House of Leaves outside of this week.
Okay.
So I don't have much of an opinion on it because of it.
All right. Well, I got a fuck ton of notes. Let me enlighten.
Okay, yeah, no, let's go through it.
Let me enlighten your fucking stupid brain. Meet Me in Montauk is this cute little song, and I think it's a nice cap off to the album. It's a little bit acoustic. It's mostly acoustic. It's not entirely acoustic by my standards. because you cannot be entirely acoustic unless you are just
An acoustic guitar.
singing outside. I guess that would be the only true like acoustic thing is just singing outside. With
You have the strictest rules when it comes to acoustic songs.
I do. Very, very strict and non-linear.
Really.
Yeah, they make no sense sometimes. But I like the amount of open strings on this, right? You can hear him. He's just playing fucking power chords, but he's leaving the G, B, and E string open for a more like ethereal effect. He's letting those notes ring out while he's playing like the high C's and the high E's. And so it's a good display of guitar playing because it's dumbed down. It's not very difficult, but it gives the illusion of it being more extravagant than it is, much like Eternal Sunshine. Like all of these things, we're going back to it again. And it's.
Do you think, was it Anthony who played guitar on this song?
I've seen him play guitar for this, but I don't know it was him on this album.
Or was it Colin or Brendan? Like, I don't. Considering kind of the simpleness of it, it could just be Anthony on this song.
Like I said, I don't know for sure who did it on album. I've seen him play guitar. I mean, I've seen him play this song on guitar live. I think when we saw them at Glass House, right?
Yeah, we've seen him at the Glass House.
Okay.
I've seen him twice at the Glass House.
When we saw him at Glass House, he played this on the guitar. It was him that did it.
Yeah.
So I know he can.
Really? I don't even remember.
I know he can play it on guitar. Not that it's a difficult song, but I know he does it on the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever that's worth. But I think the song is about like the feeling of deliberately losing someone, then having this feeling of emptiness that you can't ignore, like Eternal Sunshine. It's the whole premise of the movie is forgetting someone, but then there's that thing inside of them that they feel like, wow, there's something missing in me. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's there, but that's why we go to Montauk. That's why Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet go to Montauk. It's something discussed beforehand. She says, meet me in Montauk. And in the beginning of the movie of Eternal Sunshine, he jumps trains and he goes to Montauk for no reason other than he just feels like he has to. And I think that's making that mistake over and over and over is what's so great. It's what's so like it is what makes humans human. And I like that is why that scene in the beginning and towards the end, if not the ending scene of Eternal Sunshine, is like the best, because it shows Jim Carrey making the same mistake he's already made. Who knows how many times, right? Because we don't know how many times they've done this already. Because we know fucking Spider-Man. Who kissed Spider-Man? What's the girl's name?
Kirsten Dunst.
Jesus Christ. Why did I forget her name so much? Kirsten Dunst. We know that she got blindsided, right? By the doctor dude. He's already fucking Men in Black zapped her memory with the thing. So who knows how many times Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet have erased their memories like this. So they're making the same mistake over and over and over and over. And it's just, why do we do this to ourselves? Why do humans make the same mistake over and over and over? And it's because of that middle ground. It feels so good. It's so great.
Yeah, I know.
That's why we drink, is because the middle part feels fucking good. Who cares if we're barfing all night? Who cares if we have to hold someone's hair back? Who cares if we wake up in the morning with it? Dude, who cares? The middle ground is the fucking best. And that's why we make mistakes over and over and over and over.
Yeah. But it's also like a good, it could be a good moral to a story too. Like you gotta learn from your mistakes. Like this is what happens when you don't learn from your mistakes. You keep making them over and over again. There's no lesson to be learned if you don't remember. You know what I mean?
It's that cliche where people say some mistakes are worth making, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
And that's a dumb thing to say, and it's so cliche, and almost on the lines of like live, laugh, love, and all the other
God, so bad
butthole eating bullshit. But dude, Meet Me in Montauk is a fantastic song. I think it's a killer. I think it's a killer closer, and I think having a secret song at the end of it is just like an even better thing, because the hidden track that comes after Montauk, it's like at the 9-minute mark. This is one of those songs that like it needs more complexity. It's a slow jam, and I think that's why it's a little off-putting. It's a slow jam because it's almost 6 minutes, but there's no complexity in it, in the instrumentation, because it drags on. But towards the end, it picks up, and like the last minute and a half is what you want the entire song to be, just a little bit more subtle. Like I think the last minute and a half is traditional Circa. It's layered. It's complex. It's thought out. Everybody is doing a really good job. The problem is it comes out the last minute and a half mark. And so I think I love this song though. I think it's such a banger of a closer. And when I had this on CD, when I had it in my Aveo. Was my Aveo or was my
No, it was
Kia?
the Mazda.
No, because it had to have been my Kia, because I got my Kia right at the Mazda was.
The Mazda was first, and then the
I don't
old
know
beat
if I
up
had the
Mazda was
Mazda
first.
right after high school. I think the Mazda
That
was
was-
right. Like right when we graduated high school, I got the Kia, that little Kia Sportage, the little.
No, because you
SUV
didn't
thing?
drive it. You didn't drive at all in high school.
I know I didn't drive till I was 18,
Yeah, so
but I didn't have the Mazda that long because I had the Kia. I got rid of the
Did you have
Kia
the
when I first started dating Taylor, and I started dating Taylor when I was like 20.
I remember you had the Kia when we worked at Fix Auto, and Fix Auto was 2006. Yeah, because I worked at Tower in 2006, and I also worked at Fix Auto at the same time. So when I left Tower, I was working both jobs at Fix and Tower.
So maybe
I don't know.
For sure, the Mazda, maybe the Kia, but whatever it was, I could skip on my CD. I could press a skip button, and it would skip the silence. And so on the CD I had, it would skip, and I could always just listen to this last one, no problem. And
yeah, because I never listened. Well, I had an iPod at this point, so yeah, I did have the CD, but I also had the iPod. So yeah, I don't know. I never really listened to House of Leaves. Just never was my thing, because by the time Mimi and Montauk came on, I was just like I would just go to another album, or I'd start this record over, because I'd rather just listen to this record again than listen to Mimi and Montauk.
Oh.
And I never really listened to House of Leaves. Just never really cared. Because I wasn't an acoustic man at the time.
That's true. That is true.
I was into metal music, punk music. The farthest I strayed into like indie music was Weezer. Prog wise was Mars Volta. I just never was into soft music. Never my thing. So
I know you're a cool guy. Us
really cool.
Us non-cool guys couldn't keep up.
I was really cool.
House of Leaves is dope, and I actually read. I read about reading a book. I read about the book, The House of Leaves, because I was interested. This is a crazy, interesting book that I'm considering like buying and then not reading.
Yeah, it'll sit on your shelf.
Yeah, but like this book. I don't know if you know anything about this book.
I do not.
But plot-wise aside, it's just super interesting. There's multiple narratives, I guess, that intersect and play off each other as the book goes on. So you're reading like two different versions of the book, and they like interact with each other, and it's very weird and very, very off-putting and hard to follow sometimes. And then there's like a ton of footnotes throughout the book. So you read something and there's a footnote, but then the footnote themselves have other footnotes. And it's kind of rampant annoying throughout the book. And then the book at points, you have to rotate it to read it.
Okay. Weird.
It's very weird. The plot itself, I can't remember what it was.
Book. Holy shit.
It is a long book.
It's over 700 pages.
But it's supposed to be really fucking good. It's supposed to be like really, really good and just really unique and thought-provoking and just unconventional.
Yeah,
I'm very interested.
I thought this was an old book, like from the early 1900s, but no, 2000. Came out in 2000. And then reading like the genre, it's horror, romance, satire, postmodernism. Just not what I was expecting at all. Wow, I'm interested, but damn, it's a long fucking book.
Yeah, it's a very long book.
I mean, I do enjoy long books if they're good. But sometimes long books can really fucking drag.
Well, that's the problem with, books in general is the time you put into it. Are you a quitter or are you a finisher? Are you really going to finish a book that you don't like and spend tens of hours into it?
There are several books I've not finished because they've just been so fucking boring. And like a prime example of books being too long are like new Star Wars books. I tried to get into a lot of new Star Wars books, and they've strictly relied on the name Star Wars, and they've been really bad books. like 500-page books that I will not finish after 100 pages because the characters suck and they solely rely on the fucking name, Star Wars. It sucks. It's a real shame. But then some amazing books have come out that are 700, 800 pages that I absolutely love, like some classic books.
Like the Bible?
Oh, the Bible is interesting. The Bible is interesting. I'm done talking about books for now. Maybe we should start a book pod. Who knows? Maybe if you actually want to read a book, we can start a
get
book
the
pod.
fuck out of here with your book clubs and book pods. This fucking guy.
I'd be down.
Dude, you ruined the
But I
last
did not
one.
I did not ruin the last
Yes, you
book
did.
club.
It was
I did
fucking
not.
you.
It was not me.
Yes, it
You can
was.
say
You
that a
chose
million
the
times, but it
fucking
wasn't me.
Odyssey, dude. You're a fucking little cuck. I specifically created this book club so we could read like Plato, The Republic, and all these other crazy fucking books I've never read. And then you had your pick, and you picked like the fucking Odyssey. Some shit we read in like 8th grade. Killed it.
Okay,
it was
well,
you,
I didn't.
100%. I'll
It
bet
was not
fucking.
me. It was not me.
May
It
God,
was not.
Allah, Buddha, Vishnu strike me down as I'm lying here, sitting today.
It was not me.
It was
not
you,
me.
100%.
I did not ruin the book club. I did not ruin the
No,
book
you
club.
didn't ruin the book club. You just took the momentum out of the book club, and the
I
book club
did not.
dissolved on its
Oh
own.
my God.
It wasn't
I did
your
not.
fault. You were the catalyst.
No, I was not.
I don't
It's
blame
not.
you. I blame you for being the
It's not.
catalyst.
All right, so eventually we'll probably do a book pod. Who knows? After Jeff, stops being a little bit fussy. But yeah, I got nothing else on Juturna or Circa really. I mean, you don't really have anything, right?
No, that is
Okay.
yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's
So let's give our final thoughts on this one, and then rate the album with our very, very famous and popular 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you should continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album but you should at least give it a shot, and 0 is just a trash fire. It's terrible. Don't even bother with it. So what are your final thoughts and rating, Jeff? Go. Wait.
Final thoughts is this album brings it back, man. This album brings it back. Circa brings it back. Sound of Animals Fighting brings it back. And I listened to a lot of RX Bandits this week, which I haven't done in many, many weeks, many, many months, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a good week. I just had a really good week of a lot of good tunes that I haven't listened to in a long time. And Circa Survive just holds a place in my heart. And it's the period, at least for me, that I transitioned into hanging out a lot in the Brea area, because my girlfriend at the time lived in Brea. And so hanging out with her and her friends. And there was kind of like a divide, not a divide, I should say. We separated a little bit, our group of friends. We kind of diverged a little bit. We hung out still and whatever, but our day-to-day lives weren't as intertwined because we didn't live together.
Yeah.
And so I was spending a lot of time in the Brea area, and Circa was a massive part of that, because it wasn't just me that liked Circa, but she liked Circa, and then her friends, Noelle, and then Travis, they liked Circa. And so there was just like a lot of Circa being listened to. There's a lot of Sounds of Animals Fighting. There's a lot of RX Bandits. There was just a lot of that era. There's a lot of Chiodos. And it was a good time. It was a good time. And it's right around when we started partying, right around when we started drinking. So it was just, I don't know, innocent youth, I guess. And that's kind of what Circa means to me. And I guess Juturna, the goddess of water, boring fucking water, puddles, the goddess of puddles.
Fountains.
Essentially, right? Who the fuck wants to be the goddess of puddles? But that's
and
cool.
we didn't even really touch upon the artwork, which is so cool too. But
Yeah, dude, the artwork is so dope. And it's the same dude that does them.
rad.
He's from Arizona. He's from Mesa.
Yeah, from Mesa. I saw that. Yeah.
Dude.
And he hasn't done anything else outside of like his own like gallery artwork. Like he hasn't done artwork for, as far as I could tell, anybody else.
No.
Like this is him. Like he doesn't Circa Survive and his own little art shows. That's it.
It's like,
crazy.
Looking him up on Instagram, it seems like he's happy with just being, man, I don't want to say nobody because that's so derogatory, but he's just happy being normal.
Yeah.
Knowing that he's done something really cool in the past, but he's not looking to be famous off it. He's just cool living his life. Living his best life is the best he can.
Yeah.
And that's what he seems like.
He
And
seems
the
like a
artwork-
really cool guy.
The artwork is all fucking cool. Like everything is really rad. It's all very different from each other. And it's in much of the same vein as like Roger Dean from Yes and many of the iconic artwork. It's
A
very
lot of purples
different.
and reds that he uses in like darker yellows. He has a very like specific color scheme to his artwork too.
Yeah,
You
there's
know, it's
no
not
there's no whites. There's no whites. There's a lot of dark colors, and there's a lot of edges. There's a lot of sharp points.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of like a circus theme as well, like a very dark circus.
Yeah, a lot of balloons, a lot of dresses. I don't know, man. It's just really cool. It's really unique, and it's really cool. Juturna's just something else. It's not a perfect album because I think there are songs on here that are not up to the standards of what In Fear and Faith is, and that's not even fair to the songs itself because that song is a beyond banger.
Yeah.
But I think Juturna holds a place in just even like our friends who don't even really listen to music know a lot of these songs because they've heard them so many damn times. And just us growing up in our 20s, this was there, man. Circa had been there for so many years. And if it wasn't Circa again, it was Sounds of Animals Fighting. It was any of the other bands that drove off from Sounds of Animals Fighting. So it was a time to be alive, and it was a good trip down nostalgia lane this week, and I had a great time with it. I do 2.75 with Circa.
Damn. Okay.
Because I don't think it's a perfect album. There are songs on here that I think that they're too boring. They're just not as good as In Fear and Faith. But overall, I think Circa, this album does something for me that not a lot of albums give me this much passion and pleasure and memories and feeling. And
Yeah.
I think overall that's what they were going for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, 2.75.
2.75. I mean, that's a good ranking. I'm happy with that.
That's
I'm happy with that.
That's all. It's only appropriate ranking, to be honest.
Okay, so my final thoughts on this one. I mean, the nostalgia hits so hard with it. It's like you were saying. It's a very, very specific part of my growing up in my late teens, early 20s. You know, with several groups of friends. Not like you were saying. It wasn't just within you and I and our mutual group of friends, but you know, with my friend John, and he introduced me to some people that were important to my life at the time, and you know, I'm still friends with nowadays, you know, in the Lancaster area. I mean, I spent a lot of time in Lancaster in my late teens and early 20s because of John, and that's kind of where because we grew up as kids, and he moved away when in junior high. When he got into junior high, he moved to Lancaster, and we remained friends like online and over the phone because this is before text really. So him and I reconnecting was me going out to Lancaster a lot, him coming to Orange County a lot, and spending like, you know, 2 or 3 days just together because, you know, he was the only person I knew out there. I was myself and another mutual friend, Sean, were the only connection he knew out here. So it was a lot of time spent together, and Circa Survive was one of those bands that we listened to a lot. And me being introduced to his friends like Heather and people like that out there was, I don't know, it was a cool time. And then all the Tower Records people that I met and kind of grew with at the time, it was a weird and very cool and interesting time. And musically, this record is killer. Like we already talked about, we really dove into that, but the nostalgia does hit hard. So I'm gonna have to give this one a 2.75 as well. It's not a perfect record. Like there are kind of, I don't want to say zone out moments, but they're close. So yeah, 2.75 out of 3 for me. It's killer. It's a killer fucking record. I wish I had it on vinyl. I wish it wasn't so expensive, but you know, I'm holding out for a repress. So I'm sure it'll happen. You know, what do we? Well, the 15th anniversary just came and went.
I know.
But
so I don't know when that's going to happen then.
I mean, maybe they didn't press it because all the vinyl shortages supposedly. So maybe that's why there wasn't a proper repress. But
like,
who knows?
I don't know. Like, even if you just type in Circa Survive's best albums, this is not even in like the top 3 in a lot of polls, and
I know it's so weird.
You just think like, have you heard this album? Mike from Rolling Stone, have you heard this album?
I know.
Jimmy from
And then-
Loudwire.
They give, like Violent Waves, like great reviews, which is a good album, but damn, man, it's just, it has nothing on Juturna. But, maybe a lot of it is nostalgia, Jeff. It could be.
No, because
every time I listen to this
there is no
record,
bass line like in Fear and Faith. There's no bass line that they've done since then. None.
Yeah, it's true.
Fact.
It's true. Mm-hmm. Sonically, too. Sonically, yeah, it's a little bit quieter of a record, like I was saying in the album rankings, but it's still, there's a lot of layering, a lot of dynamics on this record. Like I was texting you earlier this week, too. This record, I haven't listened to it with headphones in years. And doing that when I went out on my run, I was hearing so many things I had forgotten or just not noticed in so long. And it's a beautifully mixed, mastered, produced record. It sounds fantastic. So it's good. It's good, but still not a perfect record. It's 2.75 out of 3 for both of us. So yeah. So we got anything else to say, or we good to just kind of end this one?
Yep, end it. Trail off.
Okay. So thank you all for listening, for getting this far. We talked a lot more than I thought. Actually, this is a good almost hour 45 minutes. So thank you all for listening. Go to Apple Podcasts, go rate, review, and subscribe to us. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio, and keep on listening. Stay tuned for the next episode, because I think I know what we're doing, but I don't know. Either way, the next few episodes are going to be pretty rad. So that's it. That's all. David Jeffy.
Because what? His books are better?
Because I say it matters.
But you don't read books, then you're fucking stupid. Got big cheeks.
Like Ryan.
Every time we text in our group chat, you always talk about that's stupid, but it's about the journey. Spider-Man's girlfriend, Kristen Dunst. He's just laying there the whole time.
Spider-Man's girlfriend.
I forgot what her name was. She did the upside down kiss of Spider-Man. Who doesn't want to kiss Spider-Man upside down? Are you kidding me? You tell me Spider-Man look in front of you, you like kiss him upside down. Fucking everybody better kiss Spider-Man upside down.